Welcome to the Outcast Train channel. My name is Io, and today we'll be doing the weekly update on Bitcoin. So here we have Bitcoin on CME on the weekly chart. So we saw the last candle that closed on Friday closed pretty bearishly, losing the 200 exponential and the 200 simple. This is not bullish at all. There was some hidden bearish divergence on the RSI, which could explain this drop in price action. It's not a death sentence yet, but it looks like it's continuing the downtrend from here. We will have to go down to the lower time frames to see how those are doing, but this does not look good on the weekly so far. Let's see. Daily. Daily, we see that Bitcoin is holding up on this higher low. It lost the 21 after some bearish divergence that we thought had played out at the 21. But no, there was more to go. So for now, it looks like it's finding some support here, but how long will that last? I am not sure. Next targets, if it does not want to hold this area, are down to the bottom of the previous range we had here, which is around 18 to 19k. That's on CME. We'll go deeper when we look at the spot. 12-hour. Yeah, 12-hour lost our blue box that we had over here. Let's signify the top of this range. It's back into the previous range. Not bullish whatsoever. Still holding on by dear life to this kind of support over here. But yeah, does not look good. Let's see. Let's go to spot. So on spot we will start on the weekly. Bitcoin lost the 200 simple and never got above the 200 exponential, but it did lose the 200 simple and the 10 simple by that over here, but it is not too relevant in this case. The one we were looking at was the 200 simple, which is closed below. Not bullish whatsoever. It's kind of it's not bullish. Do we see the same hidden bearish divergence? Yes, we do. We see the same hidden bearish divergence on spot as we see in CME. So it's confirmed by that as well. Stokes, they did cross above the critical zone, but they're kind of flat right here. I wouldn't. Let's see what this week does and where it closes. But yeah. It's not the most bullish thing. I mean, you could say that this could just make a low here, and this is just the high, and trying to make a higher low above this low, and then to continue this uptrend. But it's not looking good for now. We'll see what it does by the end of the week. But let's look at more relevant information by going down to the daily. Yeah, the daily, we saw this massive candle coming down, lose this higher low area, this higher low, and this higher low. We actually had a red flag over here that we saw Bitcoin close below the 21, had a bit of a backfill, get rejected, a second close below. I was already bearish here, but I had my last stand, which would be this higher low over here, this blue box, which also signified the top of the range, of the previous range. That got lost. So that was not good. Pretty bearish bias right now, at least on the daily and below. I was expecting or wanted to see a bit of a bounce to test the top of the range on the weekend. We kind of had this attempt, but it didn't really get up there. Let's see what fibs line up around here. Yeah, no, to get to the 618, it's much further up. Yeah, I wanted to see at least a tap of the 21 or a rejection, or at least this top of the range, which we could still get during the week, but I wanted to see it on the weekend, and then a continuation further down during the week, which again, it can still happen. For now, we see that the Friday closed bearish, the Saturday, Sunday was just a bit of a bounce, and it looks like Monday and beyond are going to continue the sentiment that we had on Friday. It's not looking good, but we had this first move down to this bottom candle, the bottom of this candle, a bit of a retest, and possibly a range forming on the lower time frames. This uptrend is now broken. The bias has changed. We lost the 21. This is now we are on lower high watch. We can even make a line here. Could the lower high come here, or could it come below? Because this actual move down could just be further down, actually before we even see a higher low. But regardless, I am still looking. What I said the other day was that if this gets broken, I do want to see a test of the bottom of this range at around 19K. Yep, that's what I would be looking for. Now that we see this break, will it happen sooner than later? We don't know. I can't tell you that. But given that this happened, unless we get a closes above and we start Bitcoin starts saving itself, I'm still looking for further low. At least that's my bias. Let's look at the 12-hour. On the 12-hour, we had something interesting going here. We were talking about this cross of the 200s that gets tested, which we did see that last week. We called it around here. We saw that this crossed, and the next logical point would be to make a higher high and tap this 12-hour 200. That actually played out really well. Too well, to be honest. This was textbook, and it actually happened. It was a great call. It did make bearish divergence, like several drives, and we saw that downfall after that, which is fine. That is part of it. I at least wanted to see this tap of the 200 before we got further downside. So what do we see now? We see that this range on the 12-hour that was made back when we first started making videos in June. This got broken. We want to see a retest to see if it can actually save itself, but I doubt it. After this area over here that actually did save itself, but this was actually when Jerome Powell was had an announcement, and technically it could be news driven, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen again. Once a range is broken back down to once price action breaks back into a range, normally that doesn't fare too well for price action. In this case, yes, there was an event and it actually saved itself. In this case, I don't think it's going to happen. But again, I cannot predict the future. I can just tell you level by level what I'm looking at. So far, I'm looking at maybe a few bounces off of 20,800. But once that breaks, I'm just looking for this bottom of the range to get tapped. Let's look at the 4-hour and below. Actually, 12-hour. Let's see. Yeah, there's a bit of it might be a reset on the Stokes here. But yeah, it's still below the critical zone, nowhere near the critical zone, so it can still take some time and even go further down. 4-hour. 4-hour looks like it got that stock reset, and it's actually turning back down. Yeah, this is not looking that great. We saw, did we see bullish divergence? Not really. No, not really bullish divergence at all. No. What we did see is a bounce to the 21. Quite a nice entry if you were shorting this. Whoever took that, at least to this area down here where we're just bouncing right now. Yeah, I mean, it can hold around here for a little while, especially when New York is closed. New York Stock Exchange is closed, which should be opening in a few hours. Then I'm probably thinking that there's going to be some movement, either on the open or on the close, yeah, especially with this candle. Yeah, this candle really shifted the bias to it being a lot more bearish. What else can I say around here? To be honest, this is just not looking good. Bitcoin had its chance to go for the 618 and the weekly 21, and it just couldn't do it. So for now, I am looking for more downside. Maybe this is maybe what I'd be looking at for now. Instead of this this move down, I could just look at this as a bearish flag and see how that aligns with our targets. Let's copy this one. Let's copy this and paste it right there. Yeah, this is probably what I would be looking for in the next week. I don't know how long it takes if this little range is extended a little longer. But yeah, just a bit of a consolidation before a tap down to the bottom of the range. That is the bearish way of looking at it. Now, we would have to look at traditional markets, and I'm sure Mark B has talked about this, that there's some support around here, around the area where SPY and NASDAQ are right now, with EMAs. So it might help Bitcoin and actually save Bitcoin, because right now, if you look at Bitcoin alone, it's not looking great. It's looking like it's confirmed a lower high on the weekly, and it's coming for lower. Can I come down to the 19K and bounce again, or keep a bit of an uptrend on this weekly? Or yeah, it could, and then just have this candle and have the rest be green. Yeah, it could. It could save itself somewhat, but the daily is telling a different story. Yeah, the daily is telling a different story. So there is a chance. However, my bias is currently bearish, and I think that's where I'll leave it off. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.